Every spring, garden centres line their aisles with flowers so beautiful it is hard to imagine they can kill. But in American homes, more than 50,000 plant poisonings are reported each year, many involving children or pets, and 7 of the most lethal culprits are being sold without warning. How did these deadly plants become so common, and why are so few people told what they truly are? The real danger starts with what experts aren't saying. In neighborhoods across the country, the numbers tell a story that cannot be dismissed. Poison control centers in the United States handle more than 50,000 plant-related exposure calls every year, a figure that rises sharply in spring and early summer, just as new plants appear in gardens and on porches. The threat is not distant or abstract. It is happening in kitchens, backyards, and living rooms, often just a few feet from where children and pets play. The data is especially sobering for families. Nearly 1 in 5 severe pediatric plant poisoning cases involves cardiac symptoms. These can include irregular heartbeats, dangerous drops in blood pressure, and even cardiac arrest. For children under 6, these emergencies can unfold in less than an hour, leaving parents with little time to react. Some of the most serious calls come from homes where the plants were chosen for their beauty, not their danger. A single leaf or berry, mistaken for a snack or a toy, is enough to send a child to the emergency room. The numbers spike with the seasons. As gardens bloom, poison center hotlines report waves of frantic calls. Parents describe toddlers who have nibbled on glossy leaves. Pet owners worry after a dog chews a fallen flower. Grandparents are unsure if a grandchild's rash could be something more. In some regions, plant poisonings outpace household chemical exposures during peak gardening months. But the risk is not limited to childhood curiosity. Adults are caught off guard too, often while pruning, arranging cut flowers, or tasting unfamiliar herbs. Emergency physicians report cases where even experienced gardeners end up in the hospital, blindsided by plants they thought were harmless. Pets, especially dogs and cats, are frequent victims drawn by scent, color, or simple boredom. Behind every statistic is a household suddenly thrown into crisis. The numbers are real, but the danger is personal. When a child collapses or a pet begins to seize, the beauty that drew these plants into our homes vanishes. What remains is a question that lingers long after the ambulance leaves. How could something so deadly be sold so casually, without warning? The answer lies not just in the plants themselves, but in the silence that surrounds them. Every dangerous plant in a garden arsenal works from a playbook written in chemistry. 4 toxin families dominate these strategies, each targeting the body in a distinct way. Some, like the cardiac glycosides found in oleander, foxglove, and lily of the valley, sabotage the delicate machinery that keeps hearts beating. These compounds disrupt the sodium-potassium pump in cardiac cells, a microscopic engine that maintains the rhythm of every heartbeat. When the pump fails, electrical chaos follows, leading to skipped beats, sudden drops in blood pressure, or even cardiac arrest. Symptoms can begin within 30 minutes of exposure, and in severe cases, death may occur within hours if treatment is delayed. There is an antidote: digoxin-specific antibody fragments. Supplies are limited, and many hospitals keep only enough for a handful of cases. Another branch of the toxin tree blocks protein synthesis entirely. Ricin, the infamous compound from castor beans, slips inside cells and disables the ribosomes, the factories that build every protein a body needs. Without proteins, organs begin to fail. The onset is slower, often 4 to 6 hours after ingestion, but the damage spreads relentlessly. There is no antidote for ricin. Medical teams can only support the body, hoping to outlast the poison's effects. A third group hijacks the nervous system by blocking or overstimulating key receptors. The tropane alkaloids in deadly nightshade and angel's trumpet, for example, jam the body's signaling system, causing hallucinations, seizures, and sometimes respiratory paralysis. These toxins can act quickly, with confusion and delirium appearing in as little as 1 hour. Antidotes exist for some. Physostigmine can reverse certain symptoms, but rapid hospital care is essential, and not all effects can be undone. The final family, represented by acon-19 in monkshood, targets voltage-gated sodium channels in nerves and heart muscle. This toxin forces the channels open, flooding cells with sodium and triggering constant, uncontrolled electrical activity. The result is a progression from tingling and numbness to muscle weakness, then fatal arrhythmias and paralysis. Symptoms may start within 20 minutes of contact or ingestion. No specific antidote exists. Survival depends on immediate decontamination and advanced cardiac life support. These molecular weapons evolved to protect plants from grazing animals and insects, but in a garden, they find new victims. The onset of symptoms can be swift or insidious, and for several of these toxins, there is little doctors can do once the process begins. Understanding how these poisons work is the first step in recognizing the risks that lurk behind even the most beautiful blooms. Oleander is a plant that rarely leaves a garden center unsold. Its clusters of pink, white or red flowers brighten highways, schoolyards, and suburban fences from California to Florida. For many homeowners, oleander is a drought-proof solution that thrives where other ornamentals fail. But its beauty is a mask. Every part of the plant, leaves, flowers, sap, even the smoke from burning branches, contains cardiac glycosides powerful enough to stop a heart. In documented cases, a single leaf has killed a child. Poison control hotlines brace for summer when trimmings left within reach, or a bouquet on a kitchen counter can lead to frantic calls and ambulance rides. Dogs and cats are just as vulnerable. In the last decade, veterinarians have traced dozens of pet deaths to oleander cuttings left in yards. Yet, major retailers continue to sell these plants without warning tags, and most buyers have no idea what they are bringing home. Foxglove, with its tall spires of purple or pink bells, is another familiar face in American gardens. Its scientific name, Digitalis purpurea, is famous in medicine. The same compounds that make foxglove deadly, digitoxin and digoxin, became the foundation for one of the oldest heart medications. But in a flower bed, the line between remedy and poison disappears. Leaves and seeds contain enough glycosides to trigger blurred vision, vomiting, slowed heartbeat, and seizures. Gardeners sometimes mistake foxglove for edible herbs, especially when young plants blend into borders. Pets are frequent casualties drawn by the plant's soft leaves or fallen blossoms. Each year, poison control centers handle dozens of cases where a handful of foxglove leaves led to a rush for emergency care. Lily of the Valley seems harmless by comparison. Its waxy white bells and sweet scent have made it a staple in shaded gardens and wedding bouquets for generations. But beneath the surface, this ground cover harbors convalatoxin, another cardiac glycoside. The berries and roots are especially toxic, causing nausea, dizziness, and dangerous heart rhythms within hours of ingestion. Skin contact can also trigger rashes. Dogs and cats are at high risk, with cardiac arrests reported after chewing just a few leaves. In many neighborhoods, lily of the valley grows unchecked along foundations and fence lines, so common that few homeowners realize the risk until an emergency call is made. These plants are not rare oddities imported for shock value. They are best sellers, woven into the fabric of everyday landscaping. Their dangers lie hidden in plain sight, waiting for a moment of curiosity or a careless hand. For families and pet owners, the threat is not an exotic tale. It is rooted in the soil just outside the door. Some plants in the garden trade are sold as rare treasures, promising a taste of the tropics or a dash of the exotic. Their names hint at distant jungles and ancient rituals, but their dangers are neither distant nor imaginary. The castor bean, with its bold, star-shaped leaves and spiky red seed pods, is a favorite among gardeners looking for dramatic flair. Yet inside each glossy seed lies ricin, a poison so potent that just one or two seeds can kill a child. In 1978, ricin became front-page news when it was used in the assassination of Bulgarian dissident Georgy Markov. An umbrella tip delivered a single pellet smaller than a grain of rice, but enough to end a life in 3 days. The story made headlines, but the plant itself remains easy to buy, often without warning tags. At nurseries across the country, children and pets are drawn to the vibrant seeds, mistaking them for candy or beads. Emergency rooms report cases every year where a moment of curiosity leads to hours of vomiting, seizures, and in some cases, organ failure. There is no antidote. Doctors can only try to keep the body alive long enough to outlast the poison. Angel's trumpet, another showstopper, hangs its enormous fragrant blooms like golden bells over patios and walkways. But every part of the plant is laced with tropane alkaloids, scopolamine, atropine, and hyoscyamine. These chemicals disrupt the nervous system in ways that can be both terrifying and deadly. In South America, Angel's trumpet has a long history as a tool for shamanic rituals, sometimes brewed into teas that induce visions or that in higher doses cause total amnesia. In the United States, poison centers and hospitals have seen teenagers and adults experiment with homemade brews, only to wind up hallucinating wildly, seizing or slipping into respiratory failure. Cases of accidental ingestion by children are also documented, with symptoms ranging from delirium to life-threatening paralysis. Even brushing against the sap can cause skin irritation and blurred vision. The allure of the rare or the dramatic can blind even careful gardeners to the risks. Castor bean and Angel's trumpet are not just relics of ancient poisonings or Cold War intrigue, they are modern threats, sitting in garden beds and on porches, sometimes just a few feet from where families gather. Beauty and rarity offer no protection. In some cases, they only deepen the danger, drawing hands closer to toxins that have shaped headlines, rituals, and tragedies for centuries. Beauty and danger have always been entwined in the world's gardens, but a few plants carry legends that outlast even their most vivid blooms. Deadly nightshade, known to botanists as Atropa belladonna, is one of the most storied and hazardous of them all. Its berries, glossy and jet black, dangle like jewels among the leaves. In Renaissance Italy, women once squeezed the juice to dilate their pupils, chasing a fashionable look that could cost them their sight or their lives. The name itself means beautiful lady, a nod to its cosmetic appeal and its reputation as a silent killer. Just 2 to 10 berries are enough to endanger a child, and even a single leaf can trigger hallucinations, rapid heartbeat, or fatal convulsions. Poisonings still happen today, often when children mistake the berries for wild cherries or when gardeners handle the plant without gloves, unaware that toxins can be absorbed through the skin. Monkshood, or aconitum, draws from a darker folklore. Its hooded blue flowers, shaped like the cowl of a medieval monk, have inspired centuries of myth. In ancient Europe, hunters smeared arrows with its root sap to bring down wolves and rivals alike. The toxin aconitine acts with chilling efficiency. Tingling and numbness set in within minutes of skin contact or accidental ingestion, followed by muscle paralysis and too often cardiac arrest. There is no antidote. Gardeners have died after pulling up roots barehanded, the poison slipping through tiny cuts or even unbroken skin. Children and pets are especially vulnerable, drawn by the plant's unusual shape and color. These plants are not relics of a distant past. They are still sold as ornamentals, their hazards buried beneath layers of folklore and aesthetic charm. For hobbyists, the temptation is real. A rare berry, a striking flower, the thrill of cultivating something storied. But the hazards are immediate. A moment's curiosity, a handful of berries, a brush with a root. Each can turn a routine day in the garden into a medical emergency. The legends that swirl around deadly nightshade and monkshood are not just stories. They are warnings written in centuries of poisonings and preserved in the annals of medicine and myth alike. As long as beauty remains the gardener's compass, these ancient risks will continue to find their way into modern homes. The folklore may enchant, but the danger is real, and the cost of ignoring it can be measured in lives changed or lost in the space of a single afternoon. Inside the garden centre, the silence is almost engineered. Rows of plants stretch under fluorescent lights, their labels promising easy care and brilliant colour. Nowhere do the tags mention toxicity, cardiac arrest, or emergency calls. This is not an oversight by a single retailer. It is the result of a regulatory vacuum that leaves risk unspoken. Across the United States, Canada, and Europe, there is no law that requires stores to warn buyers about the dangers of ornamental plants. Federal agencies regulate pesticides and food safety, but the plants themselves fall outside their reach. State and provincial rules focus on pests, not poison. Even in countries with strict chemical labeling, the statutes stop short at the garden gate. Retail insiders point to the cost of testing and labeling millions of plants each year. Supply chains cross continents with cuttings shipped from Florida to big box stores nationwide. Adding warning tags would mean new logistics, new expenses, and some fear lost sales. Industry groups argue that plants are part of nature, not products to be labeled like household cleaners. The result is a patchwork system where the burden falls on consumers to know what they are buying, even when the stakes are life and death. Garden centres may offer care tips or highlight drought tolerance, but the information gap on toxicity remains. For families, this means the protection that exists for other dangers like child-proof caps on medicine or hazard labels on chemicals simply does not exist in the world of ornamental plants. The risk is built into the system, and the silence is by design, not accident. When a toxic plant exposure happens, every second matters. The first step is to call Poison Help at 1-800-222-1222. This nationwide hotline connects you instantly to experts who can walk you through what to do next, no matter where you live. Do not wait for symptoms to appear. Early action saves lives, especially with plants like oleander, foxglove, or castor bean, where effects can turn deadly in under an hour. While you're on the call, gather key details: the name of the plant, if you know it, how much was eaten or touched, the age and weight of the person or pet, and when the exposure happened. If it is safe, snap a photo or save a small sample of the plant. This information gives doctors and poison specialists a head start when every minute counts. For skin or eye contact, rinse the area gently with lukewarm water and use no soap unless directed. Remove contaminated clothing and avoid rubbing the skin. Never try to induce vomiting or give food, milk, or home remedies unless a poison specialist tells you to. Some plant toxins act so quickly that these steps can make things worse. Keep a close watch for symptoms like trouble breathing, seizures, or sudden drowsiness. If these appear, get to the emergency room right away. For pets, call your veterinarian as soon as you contact Poison Help. After the crisis, consider sharing what happened with neighbours or your local gardening group. Labeling toxic plants in your yard or even starting a community warning system can prevent the next emergency. A simple sign or conversation could save a life. Today, garden centres still sell toxic plants without clear warnings, while poison control centers field tens of thousands of calls each year. The gap is not just in labeling, it is in how we weigh risk against beauty and trust against knowledge. Until transparency becomes standard, every garden holds a silent question. What are we planting, and at what cost? Stay curious and stay safe. Let me know your thoughts below.